good afternoon. This is Friday, July 1. I'm a little bit delayed in giving you some feedback on the Ben Franklin discussion board. I had a big project of my own due this week, so thanks for your patience. I already sent everybody individual emails about the Spirit of Nationalism discussion board that you did in small groups, and overall those were also very good. And everybody sort of touched on the main ideas. The idea of the tabula rasa, that was so important to the thinkers of the Enlightenment, that people are like blank slates and we can sort of make of ourselves what we want. And this is in contrast to the Puritans, who felt that we all have the taint of original sin on us. Someone had mentioned, believe that we're all going to hell, but the Puritans held out like maybe they'd be part of the elect, the group that God had sort of pre-selected to go to heaven, and no one really knew who was part of that group. So that was always the thing that kind of kept them going. But anyway, that was a great discussion board. That's been reopened for you to review, and so has the Ben Franklin one that I'm going to talk about now, just briefly, because overall you did a super job. One of the things I noticed is I forgot to say, respond to at least one classmate or two classmates, because I was writing down scores and I thought, wow, a lot of people are only going to get half credit this week. And then I reread. And because I didn't put that in there, I can't really take points off. So as long as you posted at least one thread, you're probably going to get full credit this week for this discussion board. Last thing I want to say are just some of the good points that were brought out. I love that Radash brought his own experience as being from an immigrant family and the idea of the hard work thing, ethic into the discussion board. That was really inspirational. And I find it really interesting that we all sort of buy into hook, line, and sinker. If you just work hard, you can get what you want in America. I mean, I think there's a lot of truth to that, but I don't know that that's always true. And you even saw examples in your reading. Occam comes to mind, who worked very hard to make much less than his counterparts in the missionaries, and then ended up sort of getting the shaft by his buddy with the Dartmouth College thing. So hard work doesn't, always maybe quite pay off the way we would like. And you probably know some people who work really hard and don't really feel like they're getting ahead. And of course, perhaps if they continue to pursue that and they're patient, at some point they will achieve their success. But I just want you to think about, again, we get so caught up, I think, into our mindset, our American cultural mindset, that we can't actually even think about alternatives. And so, don't get me wrong, I'm all for hard work, but not necessarily is it the only key to success. Sometimes you could be rich and be born into a rich family, and that could get you a lot that hard work would have taken a lot longer to get you. But just something to think about. I loved Radash's point about self-education. Self-education is great, but would you go to a doctor who did not have a degree and was self-educated? So, that's a really good idea. And in this day of internet, there can be a lot of self-education. There's a lot more access to information than there ever was before. And so self-education is a constant, WebMD.com, etc. We all kind of think we know stuff. And so I love the idea of self-education. I constantly think I'm doing that myself, and it was quite inspirational. But I think that the discussion that ensued about that sort of was brought up by Radash was real interesting. I like Sue's 21st century Ben Franklin OCD, type A personality at his computer, at his Excel spreadsheet, putting his black marks in for, whatever virtue this week he was working on. That was kind of fun. I really like Doug's post about the art of rhetoric and argumentation. I like that he brought out that particular story, how Ben Franklin, had these arguments with his friend John Collins and these academic exercises, really. Found that interesting. I'm an English 111 teacher, and of course argumentation, that's supposed to be the culminating project in English 111. That means you've sort of reached the pinnacle of thought, of logical thought. And so I think that's a real important Western idea that began way back when with the Greeks and Aristotle, and continued, with Ben Franklin. Patrick, of course, nobody responded. They probably didn't know what to say about it, but it was a real interesting post about the secular individualism that I think really is a pretty recognizable characteristic that survives even today in our American consciousness. So although that had its roots in the Italian Renaissance, yeah, that was a good post. So you all are really picking up steam and doing a great job in this class, and I enjoy so much reading your thoughts and your interactions with each other. And I hope you have a great holiday weekend. I know you got like a twiz due and a project coming due. I know how that feels. I'm in the same boat, but I hope you find some time to enjoy some of the outdoors and some of your friends and family. And I'll talk with you again soon.